Apparently, there are numerous tornadoes prior to Hurricane Milton. It is just a tragedy to see what is taking place in Florida at this time.
And so all that debris that's been out there, and a county official told me they only picked up about 5% of it, so there's a lot of just debris and trash all over these neighborhoods, is going to stay out there as we're battling now both a hurricane and potential tornadoes that are striking the Sunshine State right now.
Yeah, Tom, I want you to stay with me if you can, but I want to mention that our weather unit, our climate unit here at NBC News has just confirmed that this is an outbreak of tornadoes. They're calling it an outbreak. They're saying there have been 10 or more tornadoes spotted. As Al was pointing out, it's sort of a swath across the middle of Florida, south central Florida that we're talking about. People in that area should be getting alerts on their phones to tell them to take cover and to get inside. To go back to you, Tom, can we talk about what is coming later tonight in terms of the storm surge, right? That's the water that gets pushed by a hurricane. What are you expecting where you are?
Yeah, anywhere from 8 to 15 feet right now, right? It just depends exactly where Hurricane Milton lands. If it wobbles left, if it wobbles right, if it's closer to Tampa, if it's south of Tampa, it's going to impact all those communities that line the Gulf Coast of Florida right now. And even just a few miles north or south that moves, it could really impact people's lives. And so that's what we're waiting for. You know, people have said you cannot survive this type of storm surge. You need to leave. And I'll tell you how drastic the situation is. On some barrier islands, they weren't going to risk people not evacuating. So in some communities, they've actually cut the water off to essentially tell residents, you can't live here anymore. You have to get off the barrier islands because you will not survive that storm surge. But Kate, going back to what you were saying, we cover tornado outbreaks in Tornado Alley and, states in the South and the Midwest as a major news event because they're highly dangerous. To now talk about a tornado outbreak happening here in Florida hours before a potential landfall, it speaks to what type of critical situation we're in here in Florida. And you got to remember, some people waited to the last minute to evacuate. Hopefully those people are out on the roads. We've been locked down where we are right now in Sarasota. We've made the decision to kind of stay put and cover the storm over the next several hours as it rolls in, because at times it can be too dangerous to be out there on the road. So I really hope people that are trying to get out, get to where they need to be. We're in a hotel right now, and I got to tell you, about maybe 2 hours ago, I saw a family load up their car and take off. I really hope that they're not going to drive for too far, because like we said, just south of us, you have that tornado outbreak.
Yeah, no, you make a very good point, Tom, that this is historic, right? This is a history-making giant hurricane that is going across the entirety of the state, the central part of the state of Florida, from west coast to east coast. Al Roker, let me bring you back in. To that point, the weather unit is saying this is an outbreak, 10 or more tornadoes. Tom was talking about the coastal area, but this is affecting potentially inland areas too.
Take a look right here, Kate. Again, we have this tornado watch that extends well up along the eastern part of Florida, but all the way down to the Keys. But these areas in red, these are tornado warnings. This is where either they're radar indicated or there have been visual sightings. And again, one of the problems that we talk about with climate change induced storms like this, that these hurricanes now, we've had at least 2 of these hurricanes produce one EF3 tornado, which is unheard of, has not happened before. And now we're looking at this outbreak happening. And since we've been on the air, we've seen the increase in tornado warnings coming up. And these are going to continue right on into this evening, because as long as this area is to the northeast of the tornado, I should say of the hurricane of Milton, that's where we have the most instability. And because this is such a really dynamic, volatile system, that we're going to be looking at more and more of these tornadoes firing up into this evening, Kate. And again, as it gets darker and they're rain wrapped, they're even going to be harder to see. So this is really a rough point. And to Tom's point, talking about landfall and where we could see the greatest storm surge, right now it looks like it makes landfall somewhere between Venice Beach and Sarasota, with as a Category 3 storm about 10 p.m., 11 p.m. tonight till about 1 to 2 a.m. Now, if that system stays like that, we are going to be looking at these storm surge impacts that happen right along between Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. But Again, if this moves to the north of Sarasota, I should say of St. Petersburg and Tampa, it's going to be a rough time. Right now, it looks like most of that moisture, those winds, are going to push into Port Charlotte, to Fort Myers, to Bonita Springs. But if it moves a little further to the north, well, look out. Sarasota to St. Petersburg and Tampa, that's where we're going to see the biggest storm surge coming in. And so that's where we have the problems. That's going to be, and this is only a 10 to 15 mile difference, Kate. So, but right now, the main concern, these tornadoes that are.
Notice that numerous of the mayor and people, the senators and so on, are informing the Floridians that lead or die. What a crisis this is. And in the meantime, let's just keep these people in prayer, everyone.
Helene was a wake-up call. This is literally catastrophic, and I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Wow, I mean, that is an incredibly blunt message, and I know you have a lot of experience dealing with these storms. You don't say something like that lightly, Mayor.
I've never said that. And 10 to 12 foot surge, I mean, if this takes a jog to the south, that's going to save us from the storm surge, but it stays on the track that it's projected to be on right now, or if it goes a bit north, would be even worse. Some of the predictions are saying that Pinellas County, to the south of us, the entire county is going to be underwater. So this is something that I have never seen in my life. And I can tell you that anyone who was born and raised in the Tampa Bay area has never seen anything like this before. People need to get out.
And your message is just, this isn't survivable.
If we have that predicted storm surge, it is not survivable.
Can I ask you what that means for the general hospital there in Tampa? Because it's on a bit of an island. And there was actually kind of this amazing thing that was used during Helene, the aqua fence as it's known, to stop the storm surge. And it worked. But from what I read, it said it can only stop about 15 feet of water. Are you worried that may not be enough for this storm?
I am worried about that, but it worked before. That it's not on a kind of an island; it's on an island, Davis Island, and of course that hospital's close to 100 years old. Was built there; wouldn't be built there under current conditions. But that aqua fence, really saved that hospital. So hopefully the engineering behind it continues to work, where the weight of the water holds that fence down and keeps the water from coming in, but it is rated for 12 feet. So if we hit the storm surge, it's at high tide, hopefully that fence will hold and the surge will just go over the top of it. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.